It's time to fight new score. Sitting here with none other than Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, what does each guy have to do to win? Start with Errol. Let's start with Errol Spence. What does he have to do to keep all three of his belts and to add another one?
I think for Errol to win this fight, it's going to have to be a real fight. And when I say that, I mean that Bud's going to have to be in the right distance where they're actually trying to kill one another. And I think that, you know, if the fight, if it's the fight has to be ugly for Errol to win in the way that I think that I would see him winning. Yeah. And that's basically, you know, I mean, they got to go toe to toe, mostly the whole entire fight. And so I would think that that would be the best way for Errol Spence to win, is to kind of like just impede his, you know, his power and his strength, you know, over Crawford. But
so he has to make it a little bit uglier and use his size.
Yeah, this has to be a dirty. You got to make it a little dirty, you know. And then when I say dirty, I'm not mean necessarily illegal, but right. Dirty in terms of being in the range to actually fight, you know. And I mean a real fight.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you saying that because you believe that Crawford might have the overall better boxing skills? And so if they end up making it a boxing match, do you believe that benefits Crawford? And a fight, a real brawl would benefit Errol? Is that kind of what you're saying here?
No, I mean, to be honest, it's a fight. To be honest, I just think it's a fight that, to be honest, either guy could win. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that one guy knocked the other guy out. I mean, that's how much this fight is. This is how close the fight is to me in terms of both of their ability. I don't see one guy dominating the other guy. I see two great fighters that's going to put their best foot forward, and it's going to be a very, very tough fight for either one of them. You know, and basically, and what I think I need to see for Crawford to win, I think that Crawford's going to have to fight at a safe distance, because Errol's coming to get him. I mean, that's Errol. Everybody knows Errol Spence walks you down, and then he starts attacking your body. And if Bud is there to get hit by those body shots, it's going to be a bad night for him. But if he's able to negate, you know, Spence walking him down, I see him winning. So, I mean, like I said, it's a fight that I think either guy can win. And even to the point if somebody put a gun to my head, I would still say either guy can win. Yeah. So it's going to be a great fight for the fans, and I think that everybody's going to enjoy it. And they're already talking about the rematch and the rematch clause and things like that already. So whoever actually is talking about the fighter, actually, they probably seeing the exact same thing that I'm seeing, is that it's going to be a close fight, and close enough to where these guys need to fight more than once for the fans to be satisfied.
And are you seeing this ending in a decision? I know you said you wouldn't be surprised if there's a knockout, but
I would be surprised. I'd be extremely surprised. Most of the time, when you have two top level fighters, fights don't end in knockout. It's different now when you have like Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard. For a fight like that would end in that way, I wouldn't be surprised, because the fact is that you're talking about Tommy Hearns, who basically all he wants to do is take your head off. Mm-hmm. and Ray Leonard has to play. You know, he has to be the smarter guy, and like I said, fight at a safe distance. And basically, and Tommy Hearns also got tired. And once he got tired, the fight was over. You know, so I mean, I don't see that happening with these two guys. I see two very skillful guys that basically going to bring what they do best against one another. And I mean, and I think that, you know, Crawford has good boxing skills, got good punching power as well. You know, and Errol has, you know, the same thing. So it's just a matter of, you know, who really is going to perform best that night, I think. You know, I mean, because I'm honestly, I mean, I like both guys a whole lot. And I don't know, I just see whoever performs the best that night is going to be the winner.
So you could visualize literally either one winning, just depending on who's having a better night. I mean, tomorrow night it could be one guy, and then the next night it could be the next guy. That's how close this fight is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it with me. I mean, I don't see this fight being. If anything, I'll be surprised, you know, if somebody gets stopped. If either guy gets stopped, I would be really, really surprised. I mean, but a tough, close fight, I can see that happening. Mm-hmm. I can see that happening probably every time they fight each other. You know, and I think that's what people that are already talking about a rematch clause, they see the same thing that I see. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that it's going to be a great fight. And I know both guys pretty well, so I don't want to pick who's going to win, I think that the fans are going to be the winners more than anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, and hopefully it is a very good fight for everyone that's watching it, and for them as well, so they can continue to make more money.
Well, I'm sure they will be very satisfied with the purses that they receive at the end. Now, here's one thing, prediction, just kind of based off of what we're talking about. Do you predict that there will be a trilogy? Do you think that they're so closely matched that they could possibly split it, and there could be a trilogy? Will there be a trilogy?
Well, they're already talking a trilogy. So, in order for it to be a trilogy, all it has to do is be close. If the fight is close in any way, I mean, any kind of way where there's no one person completely dominating the other guy, there's going to be a second fight. And basically, you know, and that'll be great for both of them, you know, because that's going to fatten their pockets, you know, and they'll be able to take care of home like they. I mean, that's the one thing I like about this fight is that I'm pretty sure that they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose a lot of money with casual fans. They're gonna lose a lot of money with casual fans because no one's talking. No one's really talking about each other and things like that. And
this isn't a Ryan Garcia social media.
Yeah, in the business of boxing, though, I mean, that's part of the game. That's part of it too. Is to actually, if you're going to sell the fight, you have to have you got to create a beef. You got to create a beef with the person that you're stepping in the ring with. And but I mean, I take my hat off to both of them because they're basically. They're just promoting the fight, you know, basically, and said that they're not finna get into name calling, you know. I'm talking about his mom, he's talking about my mom, and this and that, and stuff like that, and their families and stuff like that. And I mean, they're both young guys that, you know, they have a family, you know. And I mean, and I think that they just don't want to have that light shined on them. You know, about talking about each other's family and things like that don't really have nothing to do with the fight.
And neither of them have ever really been those type of fighters.
No,
they've never been real big, loudmouth, braggadocious gentlemen.
Neither guy has never been very talkative. And I remember one time when I went to Terence Crawford fight, fight, the post fight. I went there, and it was so funny to me because he said, "Hey everybody," and he got down, he sit down. It took him literally 3 minutes to say, "It's a great fight, it's a great night, I'm out." I couldn't believe it, you know. So I mean, and you know, Earl, he's not really talkative either, you know. So you got two great fighters that are not talkative in the terms of where there's going to be a large amount of money that's not going to be made just because of that one little thing that they both have, you know. But if they're talking about it being a trilogy, they'll make that money, you know. But they'll have to have, you know, multiple fights to make the money that they really should be able to make. If they were braggadocious and talking shit, they would make more money like that in the first time.
And I think perhaps a close fight, like a close decision, could fuel something like that. You know, they could be arguing about, well, the judges didn't see it this way, and I think that could actually add something for a next fight if it did.
Yeah.
I bet you it would add some intrigue, and we would probably see a little trash talk then if we see the fight.
If something happens where one guy think that he won, that he won, or that he felt that he won, and felt that maybe there was a bad call when one judge, or a bad call by the referee or something like that. Yeah, I think then there will be some trash talk, and I think the next fight will sell much better because they will actually be talking about one another, or they were talking to have someone to talk about or have someone to blame.
And then also the next fight, one of them will be the unified champion. We'll have all 4 belts too, so I think that'll be an extra little promotional marketing tool right there. So, all right, well, so we are believing there probably will be a trilogy on this one.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? All right, so that's the prediction. We're probably thinking, 2025, 2024, we're going to see part 3, unless it's a definitive knockout by one guy or the other, I'm pretty sure.
And that can happen too. I won't be surprised if that happens. You know, I mean, it's boxing. You know,
do you
boxing
think if we get a brutal knockout from either one, a definitive knockout, do you think they're still going to exercise the rematch clause?
I don't think so. One thing about knockouts mean I dominated you. Even if it's from a punch that you really didn't mean to hit the guy with, but you got counted out to the count of 10. I don't need to bother. I don't need to do business with you no more. That's how boxing works. You know, I remember when Floyd was ready to fight Diego Corrales, and of course, most people favored Corrales, and Floyd completely dominated on fight night. He completely dominated. There was no way they could even think about a rematch. You know, because I mean, he lost almost every round. You know, and I mean, it was convincing. I mean, completely convincing. And if something like that happens, there's not going to be a rematch. But you know, if there's anything where, like I said, if they blame the judge, or if they blame, some blame got to come somewhere before there's going to be, if the fight is not, you know, a fight like we all think it's going to be. So, I mean, I just think that it's going to be a great fight. That's what I'm thinking in my own mind. I think there's going to be a great fight, and I think that the fans really are going to be the winners of this fight. But I also think that they left a lot of money on the table, you know, and that's all right. I mean, if they don't want to do, you know, the normal promotion of boxing, that's fine. I mean, that's their choice.
Do you think there would have been more money, perhaps if they would have held this fight before the pandemic, 3-4 years ago, when they were first starting to call each other out?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes that call out and that matchup that everybody wants, if they don't get it in a certain time frame, I mean, that time is over with, and some people some people don't want to spend their money on it again, or because they should have did it a long time ago. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, but the one thing about boxing, it can work both ways, because with Floyd and Manny, it was totally different. You know, I mean, Floyd and Manny they talked about fighting each other for 6 years. You know, and that was a long, long time. But they were both big enough stars to, you know, they didn't care. They wanted to see that fight happen.
Yeah, that build up, it took a long time, but look what happened. Vegas was crazy. That night was crazy. Still, I believe that's still the record. Maybe was that his second biggest paycheck, Floyd? I don't remember if he got a bigger paycheck off of McGregor or not.
He got a bigger paycheck off McGregor.
Okay, but prior to that, I believe that was the first ever 9-figure check in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd made over 300,000, 300 million. I mean, and Manny made over 100 million. So, yeah, I mean, it was a great fight, one of the biggest fights in the history of boxing. But you know, so I mean, this fight with Crawford and Spence, I mean, they can probably make that kind of money in 3 fights.
Right.
You know, if it turns out the way that most people think it's going to turn out. You know, because I don't think there's many people that's just going to say that that Spence is just going to knock him out or Crawford just going to knock him out. I can't see that. You know, if you're their friend or their family or something like that, you'll say it.
Yeah.
But I don't think a fan would say that. Not a genuine boxing fan. But I just think that they could have did a little better with the promotion in terms of just the casual fan, because the casual fan is the one that makes that difference when that pay-per-view number hits. So.